Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to
The Cypher.
The Cypher.
Okay. I forgot the introduction for it. Oh yeah, okay. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to the Cypher. Yo, it's OllyaWood and Palmathon back again after the quarantine break. Yo, man, I kind of miss podcasting. It's been
It's been a while.
It's been a year. It feels like a year, but it hasn't
been. I was gonna say the same thing. It's been a year.
Yeah. Almost a year since we've started on Spotify now. And it's kind of been crazy. I think.
How many episodes do we have? 8.
We have 8, including this one now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of crazy. Yeah, but we back.
You have all the stats, right? You have the stats.
Yeah, I got all the stats, on Spotify, but we back. We finally back after how many months now? 6 months, maybe.
6. If you honestly feel like more. What was the last episode we recorded?
The last episode we recorded was with Kai, I think.
Kai. Okay.
Kai. Keith.
Keith, yeah.
Keith, yeah.
Okay, I remember that.
I think that one was March, maybe. Yeah, that was really good. I don't know, I felt that, and I think it was April. I think, because then we uploaded that, and then quarantine happened, and COVID, and all that happened.
Honestly, everything has happened so quick with lockdown, and it happened super quick. Yeah,
bro. I still have my basketball shoes. I think the day it happened was on Friday, right? And then I think I was it'll probably be for a month or a few weeks and all that. I'll come back and I'll get them. I also have a case of water bottles too. A plastic water bottle in the locker.
I remember that. You're going around giving people water bottles. I remember that.
Yeah. Because I didn't have I didn't have enough for the crew and all that. But I have a water bottle case, cases of water bottles in my locker. And then my basketball shoes, my new basketball shoes too.
Yeah. Oh, they're still there. They're still there, right?
Yeah, they're still there. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I have not come back since then. Bro. If I go back to my locker and it's rated and all that, I'm gonna be cheese. I'm gonna be.
Someone watching this podcast is gonna be like, "Let's go get all these shoes."
I think we should cut that out. So, but I don't think really no one really expected all that to happen. After,
I didn't go to class that day. Luckily, I missed class that day, and then literally during that class, I got some email from Harrison, and all of that was dark.
Everything just shut down real quick.
Yeah, it was Henry's class too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
True. But we back for another season, another year to introduce new and fresh Toronto podcast and guests and artists, and we're gonna expand a bit, include other people from the Toronto creatives, from video game enthusiasts. Is that enthusiasts, right? Yeah.
Enthusiasts.
And then enthusiasts. And then other people around the creative industry, and try to build up what Toronto is to the world,
Yeah, I think honestly, not even just Toronto. We're just gonna try and have a whole discussion about the music industry and what's going on, and bring in managers, artists, songwriters, singers, and even talk about our own experiences and interests around music, and hopefully we can continue building this community, that we're sort of building right now, and just try and get our people watching or listening or get involved. We're gonna try and get more involvement and interaction, I would say, this season.
For sure. I think with the GTA, there's so many more. It's so much more than just Toronto. It's all the neighborhoods around Toronto that make up Toronto. Because Toronto is the GTA is such a diverse group of people that come together,
Yeah.
and then that kind of makes up what is Toronto, you know?
Yeah. You don't even live in Toronto, dog.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know
I'm
how he
in
just says
Brampton,
that.
bro.
You're in Brampton, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Brampton man for now, but
No,
we're gonna try
Brampton.
to upgrade, you know?
No.
But yeah, but over the quarantine, what have you been up to?
Honestly, like I can't remember, man. Not much. I was working through it. So it wasn't like I had to stay home. Like I had a
Yeah.
thing of like I was an essential worker, so I was working through the whole thing and
Oh yeah.
getting people their necessities on the shelves, you know.
Sure.
So there's that. For the most part, I did try to just learn like new skills, like coding or whatever, you know, like. But that a lot of stuff, you know, like just because of like being stuck inside or something like damages your like motivation and stuff.
I feel that.
So yeah, there was a bunch of stuff I was trying. Coding. I even I don't want to say this out loud, but I even started to try and get into like beat making.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I started watching tutorials and even messing around with FL Studios and
I know.
yeah, and I still try and do that, you know, but yeah, but beat making is like seriously like something I want to get into. But I know it's just going to take a lot of time and effort and, you know,
Sure.
yeah.
So like working as an essential worker, was that stressful at any point? Like just to try to manage all the people that were coming in,
Yeah, yo, let me tell you
stealing
something.
water bottles and toilet paper and all that.
Yo, let me tell you, when like this whole lockdown thing first started, shelves completely empty. You've probably seen posts on Instagram or
Oh
like
yeah.
people, yeah, you've probably seen that stuff. But I was actually there, and I'd walk in, and like it's like what, not even like 10 minutes since the store is open, and it's still empty from like last
Jeez.
night. And people will just come up to you and ask you like if you have this or have this, and I'll just be like, no, we really don't have like anything. Like people are buying like I remember like for toilet paper, people would buy like 3-4 bags, or not
yeah.
bags, like cases. And then once we actually got like a shipment, like a whole like a skid of like toilet paper, and one of my coworkers was bringing it out from the back doors, and then literally he couldn't even get to the aisle, and people just started like rushing and started like getting their toilet
Yeah.
paper. And
He got mobbed.
yo, he just like he left the skid there, and it was I'm telling you, it was probably like all gone.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like when I think of like most essential stuff, I don't think of toilet paper being the main one, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
water too. Like I mean, I guess people don't drink tap water anymore.
I think I don't know, COVID, I feel like it's a little bit more serious in the States. I know in New York that probably has like the most cases in the whole world right now. So for that, like buying these kind of stuff does make sense because you really want to be indoors as much as you like can, right? But for like us, like in Toronto, like I don't think it's as much as compared to like the States.
For sure.
Yeah, so I don't think you need to be taking that much and hoarding stuff, you know.
Yeah. You know, for me, like I've been trying to, even though it's like we've been inside all day, I think I try to step out a bit, you know, like play a little basketball, you know, little hoops around. But I think for me, I've been like trying to work on like writing and stuff, like writing scripts and pilots and all that, TV scripts. And I think I've made some good progress. I think, you know, just trying to, like, I think especially after, we'll talk about this later, but being on experience on being on that Netflix show, you know what I mean? I think not only did it help me to like learn the experience of being on set and what it's like to like work with so many more people, but also like what kind of goes into like character-driven stories and things that you don't write, but you can visualize in your head when you read it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that I think that helped a lot in my storytelling, because like from like last summer till now, I've been writing a lot more, especially with like classes and all that, like dramatic writing and all that, like some writing. There's this one kind of feature film, short film that I wrote called. Actually, I'm not gonna say the name because I want to keep the name to myself. But
keep
it's
stuff
like this kind of,
a little low, you know.
Yeah, kind of like this music based kind of movie where it's like has a bit more, I guess, more heartache and emotion behind it, and that kind of knowing what that feels like and understanding what motivation goes behind that kind of helps in understanding how other shows do what they do, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I that's what I've been mostly doing. But then I've also been, you know, trying to find a little bit of a rhythm with photography here and there.
Yeah,
Like,
I've seen you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've seen you. Even like near the end of school, I saw you like getting out with your camera and trying to take as many portraits or stuff like that of people. I saw that. Yeah.
True. Yeah. Like I think, that's one of the benefits of having like a camera like that, or just any camera in itself. When you see something, you can just like take it right there. You don't have to like come back another day, because sometimes, especially with like environmental shots and all that, you don't really get to come back to that, and won't be the same because the environment changes and all that.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, for me, I don't carry my camera out a lot. Like, maybe I've been going out to like nature scenes like a lot, right? Just yesterday, I saw like these two crows, like huge, like this big. They were sitting on a fence, two of them, and I didn't have my camera on me. And usually I just take photos with my phone. And with that, but it was a little too far. They were too far away, and I was just like, damn, like I wish I had my camera on me. So I don't know, like I want to get back into photography as well. But I think I just need to build the habit of like just carrying that thing on me, and getting those shots. Like you said, like you can't always go back, and you're not gonna have that same moment like all the time, right?
Yeah, because like I think taking your camera around with you is like a definite advantage, but then like at the same time, it's kind of expensive if you drop that or something happens to that at the same time. You know? So like I take it to school because I know I've been to school enough times to like know how to handle it. But if I'm going to like a set or something or somewhere else, then I'm leaving that at home, because I don't want anyone snatching that thing, you know. But I think you guys can follow us at that_guy_OllyaWood, and you can follow Paul at paul.mostope, right?
Yeah, there you go. You remembered it.
Okay. I've had to, like with Instagram, you have to like you have to do, when you ask someone, you have to do the whole Instagram name. So like I know everyone's name because I have to type that in physically every time.
I made a new Instagram. I took like a small break from Instagram just during the whole lockdown thing.
True.
Just so like I don't know, I just didn't like how I was like online and on my phone all the time. So just took a break, and again, like it was just like another thing of trying to do other things and not be distracted by my phone or whatever. That's why I disappeared like for a little while. Like
okay. High key, we were kind of like wondering where you went.
Bro. No, that was that's respect, like you guys actually like reached out and like what's up, so I appreciate that.
No worries. Guys, you gotta make sure you check on your people, bro. Because like everyone is like, even though we're experiencing similar things, everyone is experiencing it differently than how you are, you know. You gotta make sure you check up on your people and see how they're doing, because you never know.
But
that's
true.
But I've been trying to get into new music here and there. over the quarantine, and it's kind of weird seeing how quarantine had affected the music industry a little bit. Do you think you've been listening to more music or less music during this time?
I would say more music, and not even just more, like more diverse music. Like a lot of different kind of music. But talk about your thoughts on first on how COVID and everything. Do you think how it affected the whole actual industry, like music industry?
I think it affected it pretty heavily. Like not only in regards to concerts and being able to just going out to hear people physically perform, but I think in terms of actual debuting albums and all that, I think it's definitely affected how they mic and how they decide when and where to release their music to. For example, I think Big Sean, he wanted to release. I think initially he wanted to release his album in March or something, and then I think it would go on to probably into the summer and all that.
It came out recently, probably a couple months. How'd you like it?
I really liked it. Especially because I'm a big Sean fan. But I've been listening to his music since high school and all that. So I think I was excited to hear some new stuff coming from him, especially with everything else going on now. I think I definitely needed more, just like you said, a little bit more diversity in my mix. But it was interesting. I think even with quarantine now, I think it's giving some artists more time to reflect on their own music and their own sound in a way. I think we're gonna be having Tracy K on soon, but I think we'll talk to her about how that kind of affects their music and how they perceive their own music, because I think we've talked about this a few times with other artists and how they kind of evolve with this sound and seeing how they evolve with this time period is, I think it's definitely a unique one, because I don't think this has ever really happened to us before, everyone is just singing inside.
Well, definitely. And you talked about it too, concerts getting shut down, and artists having to reach this is a big point of I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of people started using Instagram Live more. Just so they can connect with their audience or their fans or whatever. When this whole thing started, tons of people I feel there was a spike in the usage of Instagram Live, and you would see artists coming on and even showing music or playing music, or just actually just trying to keep that connection with their fans, because you can't go on tour or concert they don't want to lose people. So I just found that pretty interesting.
I think even with I think they were doing a lot of especially with Tory Lanez, at the beginning he was doing this kind of I forget what it's called, but it was kind of Instagram Live kind of radio station type thing. Where you hear Instagram Live with other people and the other artists and all that, and he would just kind of connect with his community and all that. But I think it's definitely an interesting way. Same thing as adapting and evolving. We see how they kind of try to connect with their fans outside of just being there physically and listening to their music and all that. I think it's pretty interesting to see how that all came together. But
were there any concerts you were planning on going to?
Well, there was one I was thinking about going. Is have you heard of this girl named Emma Lowe?
Oh no.
She's this
Emma Lowe?
I think Emma Lowe. I think she's British or something. She's down in LA right now. But there's just a few songs that I like from her. I think it's called North Side, and then there's another one me see. Let me do a quick Spotify check.
Is she like a smaller artist?
Kind of, but she was kind of featured on Genius. You know how
okay.
some older artists do like the cosign thing on Genius and all that. Like, if they co-sign this artist and all that, I think she was co-signed by Alicia Keys.
Okay.
So she was co-signed by Alicia Keys, and like Northside, Tried Up, we tried. Some of the songs that I really liked from her. So I think that's another way of like being able to connect with an audience and all that, because like I think especially with this audience now, or at least our age demographic, we kind of tend to be more on the internet and YouTube, and maybe even a little more of Netflix too, especially now. But I think having artists like kind of like Will Smith being active on YouTube, it kind of allows more of a deeper connection than just seeing them on a concert or
a movie or something.
Instagram Live and all that.
I actually wanted to really go see Russ this time.
true.
Russ was in July. Like, I was so excited about that.
Sure.
But all got canceled. Like,
it's
go ahead. Sorry.
Tough times. Like even with concerts and all that, I think. I think J. Cole mentioned this somewhere, like how most artists make their money on the road from like stadiums or concerts or just going out on tour and all that. And with all that being shut down, you have to find other ways of like being able to like make their money too, and like kind of preserve what they have to build on to what they want to go on to next. Like it's not sad that they don't get to do that, because I just enjoy music and all that, but gotta do what we gotta do. So what kind of diverse music have you been getting into?
So you already know, like I listen to like rap and hip hop and stuff like that. At this time I just try to reach out to like a different artist. Like I never really listened to Big Sean. I wasn't like a big Sean fan like you, but when his new album came out, and I was literally just scrolling through like Spotify's like new releases, clicked on that, really enjoyed it, got into Big Sean, and I'm like the type of person who, if I enjoy someone's music, I'll actually want to know more about them. So I'll probably go on YouTube and watch some videos, or I don't know, stuff like that. Big Sean was one. In terms of like different style of music, I had this phase of listening to a lot of like Lana Del Rey. I don't know if you know her, right?
Yeah.
I've heard of her like so many times before, but I never really liked her music, or not really liked, but I wasn't really into her music. But just recently, like I literally went through almost all her albums, and I really love her music. Yeah.
Okay, true. So you went like on a binge of music right there.
Yeah. Lana Del Rey, like her voice is amazing, and I knew her because I did listen to a lot of The Weeknd, and I feel like those two have like a lot of good chemistry together, even though they've done a few songs, but I don't know, just like on their songs, they've got a very good like connection and vibe together. So I kind of knew her, but this time I actually just sort of went deeper and like into her discography and stuff, right?
True. Like I think.
What about you? Any music?
I think for me, like I've been into Pink Sweat and all that. Khalid. I think he's been doing a few more like features and all that. But recently, let me look at my some of my
I was about to do that too.
Quick look up. Let's see. I feel like I've been listening to a lot more like early 2000s R&B and stuff. Like
Yeah.
kind of like Neo,
Who does that consist of?
Usher,
Yeah.
Neo,
Okay.
Usher.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit of Ty Dolla $ign too.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think mostly I've been just trying to. I don't know. I've been listening to a lot of like different mixes that Spotify gives me. Like
Yeah.
you have this like made for page that
Yeah.
they like tailor music to your to what you've been listening to.
Yeah.
I think I've mostly just been listening to that and like time capsule type playlist and all that. But yeah, I don't think I've been too diverse in my taste, but you know, who knows? Maybe I'll end up listening to some country.
Country. Oh, I mean, why not? Like, anything. Like you got the time. Like just like really throw on some headphones, play the music.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What were your thoughts on the Weeknd's new album? Like I read this weird thing. I think it was like yesterday or something, but some YouTube comment like pointed out that like the Weeknd's music always like comes out during like some sort of like crisis time. Like this time it was like the whole like pandemic, and his album came out, and you know like the Weeknd has like a very like gloomy and very like a certain kind of vibe, right? Yeah. So what if I don't know if you listened to it, but what were your thoughts on that album?
I think I've listened to some of the songs on it, and I think there are definitely like some classic songs on it, like especially like I think it's Blinding Lights. I think.
Yeah.
Like that one especially is like one of those I think it's like one of those timeless songs that you'll end up remembering later on. When you hear on the radio, you'll be like, you'll be cranking down to it, you know?
Yeah, no, seriously, like this album, like the style that he went with, it was a very 80s, 90s, like, I don't know, kind of vibe, right? So definitely, timeless is a great word to like describe it. And I don't know, like this, like even though like we weren't born in the 80s or whatever, like we didn't live through those times, like we've seen movies, we've seen like TV shows, and whenever those kind of like, if they play music in the background or like, you know, like what's it called? Like what kind of music? Like when it's like a shot of, it starts with a D, the word.
Disco?
Not disco. No, I can't remember the word, but like if it's like some scenic shot of like introducing like in the beginning of a movie and they're playing some 80s music. Oh man, yeah, I don't know, or whatever the word, but it gives you a very like a nostalgic kind of like vibe, you know. And I feel like with this album, he did great with that, and sort of giving that.
I think I can definitely hear that in the Blinding Lights song.
Yeah,
with the kind of like the 80s keys that he has in the back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like the it's kind of like kind of like I guess it's kind of like disco type, not disco, but like the kind of keyboards he used. That But
even his costume, like his attire, if you saw him like do some like live shows right, like he got like the suit on. I love like dissecting these things.
Yeah, he kind of had like a Michael Jackson kind of vibe with it.
Exactly.
Michael Jackson thriller type vibe.
I don't know if you remember when the Weeknd first started getting big, like a few years ago or something like that, like with his like what was that song, The Hills, right around that time, people were like comparing him to Michael Jackson, and a lot of people commented that he can't dance. You know, like he can sing, but Michael Jackson could like sort of do both, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like I don't know. There's something I noticed this time, and we saw a little bit more dance moves, like when he was performing, like on say late night show or something like that. And it really seemed like he really brought his like A game with this, like
I mean, like even Drake can dance a little bit, you know. Especially with his last song. I think it was I think Tootsie Slide, yeah, that one.
Oh man, okay.
Man
Oh,
was
that
sliding back and
song.
forth.
Yeah, you know he
Yeah.
hired like professional TikTokers to make up that dance.
Oh yeah. I remember
Yeah, that that song was like
that.
strategically like planned to like blow up, like with the whole like
Yeah.
staying inside, like in the lockdown, and with
Yeah.
TikTok even blowing up. Like that song is like a mastermind. Like I don't know about like the content, like the lyrics of the song. Like it's like, like
Yeah.
it's not like serious, but in terms of marketing and in terms of like the whole development and production of the song, like it was genius.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you even saw the music video for that, but he
Yeah. It was like a music
sorry.
video / house tour.
Yeah, exactly. And it fits so perfectly because everyone is inside their house, like stuck inside their house. And this guy just literally went, like, he just walked, like, he probably grabbed his boy and he was like, yo, just film me, like over
Yeah.
the song. And it was, I don't want to call it easy, but it was just so, like, simple. And I feel like it worked great. And
Yeah.
obviously it hit number one, and,
Yeah. So sometimes that simple stuff is just what you need to get into it, you know?
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, like even like someone like Will Smith, who's like who's getting into vlogs and TikTok and all the social media. I mean, he vlogs, but he has a team behind it. But it's like it's almost like a MTV type. Like I feel like with Will Smith, it's like or MTV, it's like live, like professional TV, YouTube, and then MTV is like right here. It's like it's like a little bit of both, you know, the high quality production, but then that a little bit of rogueness or just like anything goes type vibe, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think and MTV before you started, like, I don't know, I haven't really watched MTV or anything. I don't even know if it's still a channel, but I remember like it was very big on like the hip hop community, and even with like Eminem and like the old school rappers, like it covered them. Like people wanted to be on MTV, and it was like you said. I think between I think you said YouTube and like television. I think you said in the middle, right? I think that describes it perfectly. Like it's music television. I think that's what it stands for.
Music television.
Yeah. So I think MTV did great with like how they came up and how they like sort of stuck to the whole like hip hop community and music industry in general.
And speaking of TV and movies and all that, you guys can catch me like what we talked about earlier. I mean, y'all can, if y'all can, you can try to find me a little bit. I did a little cameo in this new Netflix show called Grand Army. You know, it's called Grand Army. It's supposed to be like a fictional school based in New York around the Grand Army Plaza. It was shot in Toronto, like based in Brooklyn, New York. So you might catch me on the basketball team here and there, on the auditorium, in the club, something.
There you go.
Yeah,
Ollie's doing it all. Yeah, movie star right here.
I might be a podcaster / actor / producer /
Yeah, people don't know. Like whoever's like listening to us, watching this, like Ollie like does a lot. Like this podcasting is just one thing, but he does a lot. I've seen him around school, like in Studio B, or like always recording something. So yeah, definitely check out Grand Army. Right?
I miss just being downtown Toronto so much, man.
Yeah.
Just like apart from like, cause like with Grand Army 2, like I got to not only did I get to meet the actors and all that, but I really got to explore more of Toronto and the area.
Yeah.
I miss being downtown so much. I just like being downtown and having the studio right beside and the lab, and then just going back and forth. Yeah, I miss being there. Like almost it's been a good amount of time. I'm missing it more and more.
Well, hopefully next year, like everything sort of gets back to normal, or at least we get to go back to in-person classes and have our own, like get back to our studios, like
Yeah.
I definitely miss the whole studios and everything. So
Yeah, I'm like just being downtown and then seeing and like just seeing random people that you know too. It's almost like it's different from high school where you like where everyone you know is in the same area and then you just run into them eventually.
yeah,
Like with university and all that. It's like you could like run into them one day and then not see them for like a month and then you see them
yeah,
again. It's like, oh yo, bro. Cause like
yeah,
everyone has a different schedule and all that. So it's definitely
yeah,
more of a I feel like more of like a bigger community because you know more people but then you only see them once in a while.
yeah.
But now you don't see them at all.
Nah, you
See them
know.
on, yeah, you only see them on Instagram and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the cameo and all that, I initially I was hooked up by Richard Marshall.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have his episode out, but we're gonna have him on again, and you know we're gonna bring him on and reintroduce who is Richard Marshall.
Yeah.
But through him,
Great guy. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And very knowledgeable. And honestly, like we had like that discussion with him, and like we were in a small like little space, and
yeah,
it felt like so natural, and the whole vibe was like crazy. And even though we ran out of time or whatever, but yeah, we definitely gotta get him back on the show, you know.
for sure. Like him and a few other guests that we need to bring on. Yo, 2020 is not canceled, bro. 2020 is still going.
Yeah.
Got more and more guests for you guys to come in, but through Richard and all that, I was able to like, because I think originally the filming began from like May, I think May all the way to October or September.
Yeah.
So I came in like from I think early July or end of June,
Yeah.
and I was there until like October. And it was really interesting to meet all like the different casts that the main cast that was a part of it, because like you can't see them. You see them not only at the characters in the show, because it was interesting because you get to know them as people first, and then actors, and then characters within the show. Because once you're behind the scenes the whole duration of the time being there, and then once you see that, it's kind of like it's like, oh damn, this person can act. Because you're not really in the moment of like, okay guys, we're gonna be in this scene, we're gonna be do this and that, because owls are different, right? But then once you see that, and then you kind of outside and you're just looking at a screen, the environment changes a bit, because the show that just came out today, it's like October 16th, and we filmed that we filmed all of that like a year ago. So you kind of forget all the experiences that you had within that, because it's been a year, you know.
It's been a long time, yeah.
When you see certain scenes, you can like relate it back to where you were when that happened, you know.
Yeah.
Like there's certain scenes where like, oh yeah, I remember this. You were filming because I was on the opposite side watching it happen.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can see how the order of how they film stuff is a lot different from how they show it in the overall thing. Because like they be shooting different things on the same day that don't correlate at all. Because like you could be like outside and school part. This could be like the last day. There was one example was like on the last day of filming, we shot this. We shot in front of the school, and we were walking down, and then the other events. But then the first shot that we walked into was like in the first episode. Oh, okay. The last thing that was shot as like background actors and all that was one of the first things is to show in the show, like episode 1 or episode 2. So it was interesting to see how, because obviously we being like media students and all that, we know how that works and all that, but seeing it like actual TV shows and all that, it was like, this actually works. This actually happens. Yeah, go with it sometimes. But I think it was definitely a cool experience being a part of that, because you don't always get a chance to be like, oh yeah, guys, I'm on a Netflix show. You should check me out.
Yeah.
It was definitely interesting to see. But I think come to the end of the show. But one more thing before we wrap up. Moving on now, or moving forward, we're gonna be introducing fan questions. So if you are a fan of a artist we are about to have on, you can follow us on our Instagrams, @guy_OllyaWood and paul.mostdope, and we'll be putting polls or question forms on our Instagram stories, so where we can have fans ask questions and ask questions to their favorite artists that are coming onto the show, and you can have like direct contact with them. Instead of a Patreon, it's just ask them on. Oh, yeah, maybe that'll be a new segment we have. But yeah, like
could do that.
Yeah.
Oh, and then also follow the Cypher Pod. I think that's our Instagram name as well.
Yeah.
We'll try and post like stuff on that as well. Honestly, like we're gonna just try and connect with like you guys a little bit more, and just try and like involve you a little bit more, because I know with the whole like pandemic and lockdown thing, like things can sort of like you don't have that connection like with your friends or like anyone. So definitely, I think interactivity is going to be a big part, and just so like you can probably like get to know these artists a little bit more, and obviously we will be like interviewing them. But if you have any like specific questions, because I know we're gonna have like managers too. I don't know if we're gonna try and get Kwaku back on, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And like these are people that actually work like in these industries. They have knowledge on these industries, and I think if anyone like even just wants to know about like simple things, like it's great to like ask, and like again, there's no stupid question or whatever. Like we're gonna try and get you guys like as much knowledge and as much like awareness of like what's happening in this music industry,
For sure. And I think it's definitely a better way of like another way of connecting with your favorite artist. Ask them directly. Why not? But yeah, I think that's all we have for you guys today. Catch us on the next episode of the podcast. We'll catch you. Hopefully our next episode is with Tracy K, so make sure you tune in to our podcast and our Instagram pages, and ask a few questions here and there, and get active, be part of the Cypher podcast, be part of this podcast. Maybe eventually we'll get some like merchandise or whatever.
We'll see where it goes. Like we'll see where it goes. Like,
for sure. But yeah, guys, we'll check you on the next episode of the podcast. Stay fruity. I don't know.
Dude, you gotta get like some.
Going with that. I don't know. I'll try to do like sign off. But yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next episode of the podcast. Stay fresh. Stay alive.
Peace.